Welcome back. This is Tablet Talks, part 7, segment 7 of episode 3. We're jumping right back in here. You already know what it is. If you don't, I'm your author. I'm your boy, Tehuti. We're going in here, decolonizing, decoding, decrypting all these writings I have left behind that have been translated and transcribed by people who seem to consistently be claiming to either actually be me or be in direct contact with me, so everyone can trust the information that they're making money selling. And the information that they're making money selling is meant to enslave your spirit, your mind. So enslave your mind, and they're trying to enslave your spirit by enslaving your mind. And they've already enslaved your body by making you use this language so they can communicate with you. So the body is already it. Like, the fact that we can communicate with this language means we are all sort of enslaved under one idea, aka we can only relate under one light that was created by some certain individual for a purpose. And when I tell you that English was created to erase the true spiritual truth that indigenous peoples have built all these systems on, that Europeans are obsessed with stealing and building their systems on. So they're taking fire to the earth that we made to turn it into metal and separate themselves from life and act like they're superior when they wouldn't even be able to do anything if we did not make the earth for them to convert into metal with their fiery New World Order vision. So this is what we're talking about here. True colonialism, and how everything being connected, this is cosmic colonialism. So them using like these tablets, specifically the tablets of light, the teaching of Thoth on unity consciousness, you need to unite with yourself. There is no consciousness that's you. You don't need to awaken to a deeper consciousness. That's literally them implanting a vision inside of you and making that the seed. So this text is specifically targeting feminine spirits who want to nurture a seed of unity consciousness so that they can feel connected and feel like they're part of my family or something. So these light white supremacists are using my name to enslave people in this way. That's the point of this series, is to decolonize all that. So you're actually getting the real truth of the space I would have been speaking from when writing these tablets before they colonized and changed it. And really, I would say I'm more wise, especially with how I, over this lifetime, know how to use this English language now, because the English language was, again, specifically created to erase the truth of what I had been writing in other languages. So, tools relating. Right here, chapter 3, they're talking about cosmic choice. So I can tell you right now that universally everything is consent. So they're going to try and weaponize the universal law of consent here to make you consent to having your space colonized by their New World Order white supremacist vision. Resurrect the energy of infinite choice. This transmission is about cosmic choice. Cosmic choice is such that you are in a space of awareness. You are in the energy of choice. This energy of choice is on the level of the cosmos, on the level of galactic proportions. The energy of choice is something that flies under the radar. There can be a learned pattern of displacing your choice throughout each day, throughout each moment, and throughout your incarnation. What is meant by displacing your choice is that you can disconnect from choice and place it somewhere outside of you. Then, as you build a pattern of displacing choice, it can feel as if your life is over, that your life is predictable, that your life is in a groove or rut, and that you don't have any choice in the matter. Okay, so they're literally talking about what they're weaponizing against you. This is how they're using my spiritual truth to enforce a lie. Your cosmic choice, like, this is all true in terms of, like, you give consent to not have consent. So, like, any circumstance you're in, ultimately, if you don't want to die, if you're attached more to that body, then you're attached more to experiencing what this life is about than actually being in your true spiritual space, which means that really your spiritual state is what is helping create this. Now, your spiritual state is being can be colonized and taken over. This is what we're talking about with slavery and consent. And like how it's like tricky when we're talking about like how spirits create life, but at the same time, the way in which they create life is at all these different levels of awareness. So like spirits are very much enslaving other spirits' minds based on awareness. And then it's just a matter of how much you like feel like doing that and getting all that karma or whatever. Because then it's like over time, people just realize that you're taking their consent away. And that's like the whole thing with fear, basically. Fear is all about convincing a spirit to give their consent or choice up. So fear is the ultimate emotion that spirits have to use against you to make you feel like you're not free anymore, to make you feel like you're not a spirit. So a spirit can make you feel like you're not a spirit and make you feel like you're their world or their imagination by making you scared of something. Because if you're scared of something, it's because you feel like you believe it will impinge upon your freedom to express yourself. That's what fear is. Love is the desire to express your spirit. Fear is the counterbalance of, well, what happens if I do express myself? I don't want to do that now. The ultimate demon to love. So it's really hard to love what you fear. It's like almost impossible. You have to like be like in a real spiritual space and like get that people generally don't, to subvert that and like purposefully do. And then even then it's like no one wants what they're scared of really inside of their space. The point of a home is that it's comfortable to be inside of. It's not scary. Scary is supposed to be the outside world. It's supposed to be like you get to choose to be scared, and then when you're done being scared, you go back home. Like a video game. So they're trying to say like, they want you to give your consent up to colonize your mind. I'm not about to read all this. As we speak about choice, there is the awareness of the multidimensional energies of choice. As you are choosing, there is a placement of empowerment in the word choice. Someone who is empowered chooses. Someone who is a leader chooses. Someone who is a guide chooses. All right, repeating, without going into this very much, because it doesn't deserve our purpose together to go into it more deeply at this time. What? One who doesn't choose is one who is outside of their divine birthright of empowerment. Choice is the C. So right there, choi is koi. It's the chi, it's the koi. When we look at koi and we think of like there are two koi pond in water, that is a Japanese pointing at chakras, pointing at yin yang, pointing at how all chakras are a balance of thought and feeling, masculine and feminine moving together. And all thoughts are a little bit of feeling, and all feelings are a little bit of thoughts, because it's really just one spectrum of vibration, which is why then 8, the number, is the soul, and it's infinity. So that right there is consent. Like if you as a spirit exist, it's because you chose to exist from a state of nothingness and pulling all of your nothing together to create something out of nothing. And now your something is an expression of who you are. So yeah, no, they're just trying to take that from you, colonize it. Because you being alive, like it's your spirit's choice to beat your heart every time it beats. Like that's cosmic consent right there. They want to take your cosmic consent by trying to act like they can relate with you. Like, hey, it's important that, you feel like you have a choice, because we totally understand inside the world that we set up that you feel like a slave. So it's important that you feel like it's your choice to awaken to our unity consciousness so we can fully enslave you and there's no resistance. How do you know if you're choosing or if you are outside of your empowered choice? You know because you have the sense of being aware of what you're doing, how you're being, and the culmination of what you're doing and how you're being over the time period of your life. To be conscious of what you're doing and how you're being from a place of choice allows access to infinite possibilities and allows access to what we're calling cosmic choice. How dare they? Ugh, they're literally adding so much logic to what should be so simple. But it's to colonize your mind. So nothing exists outside of choice. When you're not choosing, or when you have the sense that you're not choosing, right, oftentimes what's happened is that you are choosing, because there really isn't any way to get outside of choice. Okay, so that here we go. They're taking forever to say what I would tell you in a minute. It's the point of tablet talks. People are lost in this. People are spending so much money getting lost in people lying about being me. And it's truly been affecting me actually in life, in the universe. So I must communicate about this and reveal the truth that these women are not me. They're just I'm like, to give them the benefit of the doubt. Not that they're being malicious. They're being used by spirits who are now using them to get to spirits like them. So that's where it's like the best way to manipulate a group of people is to have the celebrity that you're using to manipulate those people be manipulated. Like, you can't really let them know what your full intentions are or what the truth is, because they won't be able to fully lie. So you need a perfect representation of the person, the kind of spirit that you want to make a sheep on your system. So like, I'm sure like these women like don't know the truth or anything. Like, they're the ones who are like creating this cult, chasing me through the astral realm. And doing all this stuff where it's like just all connected in this whatever, where they literally are just focused on this whole Council of Light thing and marrying me through the Council of Light. And they're not realizing that they are the Council of Light. They're the cult. I'm not part of the Council of Light. They're trying to make me part of the Council of Light based on how they're saying that they'll be happy once they affirm and marry me and become it. And it's literally just the desire for spirits to not be alone. So female spirits are just so scared of being alone, and they specifically make female bodies so that they have a much better chance of not being alone in that lifetime. Fact is, though, no matter where they go, no matter what they do, they're only bringing their subconscious darkness problems to whatever they're running away into. So stop trying to run away into me, because you're only weighing me down and hurting me. And if you truly love me, you wouldn't want to hurt me with your problems and be like, Thoth, heal me, Thoth, heal me. And it's just all these women like, heal me, Thoth. And they're just, I can't heal you if you don't heal yourself. Because like, what is there to heal, really? Like, then I have to get lost in the logical law, like, oh, or how are you hurt? And just all these girls like, I'm broken. Oh. Man, that was literally my first DMT trip. Before I like really tapped in, like, let me get to my alone space. And then I'm interacting with my higher self, Iris cell, through my subconscious Iris cell. Really, the spirit has no name. It's just the name Iris cell is what I've been working with since 5th grade, to speak with my spirit through my subconscious mind. So my spirit is the unconscious, I is the body and the consciousness, and my spirit operates my body through the subconscious. This is why all of life is subconscious, because all of the unconscious is creating the consciousness through the subconscious. So everything you can see is being created from what you can't see. Hence why everything's connected by vibration. So yeah, they're trying to colonize your cosmic choice with all this lostness. That brings us to cosmic choice, because whether it feels as if you're choosing or not choosing, nothing can exist outside of choice. Nothing can exist outside the C, because the C is what exists. All right. So we talk about numbers. C is the 3. That's the air. And then the 4 is the earth. That's the practicalization of the air. So that's what we really see is earth. But the fact we can see it is because it's part of the C, because it exists. And then that is only possible because of the igniting, whatever, the unitifying, the words are hilarious, the unifying, the unification, of 1 and 2. That creates the C. So 1 plus 2 equals 3 equals C, that it equals existence. 1 is your individual infinite imagination. Your flame cannot be tamed. And then your feeling is your water. how you balance out your imagination, all your demons, all of your negativity, all the stuff, all of your darkness that you want to ignore, that is all of your feelings. And that's like the infinite true expression of your spirit. And then when those two come together, that's what exists. And those two only come together based on your choice. So that's what the fire and water realm, those are your internal worlds. That's the astral world. The exist world is the physical world. That's the world of air and earth. Yeah. So much lostness here. This is silly. As we have entered into the domain of choice and we have opened up the awareness that nothing exists outside of choice, the energy of choice is brought into your life once more. This is insane, especially because they're lost in the word energy. So notice like them like using like energy, they're so physical. They want you to be trapped on earth. They want to keep you trapped in the simulation. The very least lost in light. Because then as they're colonizing light, they're colonizing the subconscious space. So the more bodies they can get your subconscious mind, your spirit lost in light with, the more they can like translate that to the astral realm so that you're communicating that through your other bodies as well. And this is where it's like true interdimensional mental colonialism, because everything is ideology. All of life comes out of what we be life, aka believe. What do we bring life to? That's belief. That is this choice energy is within all that there is, and all that there is within choice. All right, this is lostness. This is lostness. As you are remembering your infinite beingness through the tablets of light, through this conversation, you are entering back into the multidimensionality of you. This is where the spectrum of choice expands from the awareness of having one or two or three choices in a situation to having an infinite possibility of choice. For when you are operating as a multi-dimensional infinite being that you are, your units of consciousness exist in a greater state of wholeness. This is so insane lostness. All right, so again, therefore you're tapped into something broader, cosmic, infinite. See, they're trying to say to tap into them, into their spirit. You're already infinite. You're already cosmic enough. You're nothing. You're everything you want to be. You are your dreams. So it's just a matter of what are your dreams. They want to colonize your dreams. This is why they're so focused on taking your vision. So they can use it against you. Probably in virtual reality. The results of choosing to be outside of your infinite nature. When you're choosing to be outside of your infinite nature and your capacity to realize that you're choosing not to choose, what often happens is that you begin to operate in a smaller area of your dimensionality. You begin to operate very much in a predictable manner. All right. It begins to be this hamster wheel where you're constantly in motion, yet you're spinning. There's just so much loss. They just keep drilling in stupid stuff. Like, it's just true flowery lostness. Yo, shout out that review, that 3-star review. You can read this if you want. I mean, I encourage you to. You'll be able to read it faster than I'll be able to actually speak it. So definitely go ahead and read this while I'm not really saying it, because I'm only referencing it. That's why we have it on the screen. All these exercises, though, like, this is just, it's so much logical lostness. Like, time is valuable. And so logic truly relies on, like, making you spend as much time investing in something as possible. This is why video games are so profitable. They put so much of their spiritual energy into creating something that will trap your spirit for as long as possible. And so that's where the games write a vibration of truth. So they'll, make it art that refers in stuff in real life so people can relate with it. And then it like creates dopamine rushes and stuff. It makes people feel good. They do a lot of studies on like human psychology and behavior so that they can make these video games as addictive as possible. And then they implant their ideas and everything that they want you to believe through that, so that when you're playing the game for hours and hours and hours and hours, you are literally programming your subconscious mind with how they want you to view life. Same with movies, but video games are like way more advanced movies, right? Especially if we're going to talk about choice, like this tablet is talking about. That's almost why there's never really going to be a good video game movie. Because what makes video games so dope is that you have the consent to choose. You're changing the game constantly based on your individuality. The way you play a video game is not going to be the same like anyone else plays a video game. Is it the same storyline? Yes. And then that's where people are obsessed with the idea of having games that give you different storylines, because it allows them to still express their individuality in a way that's then relatable with all these other individuals. Life is a video game. Everything's simulations. Everything is holograms, yes, but that's just light. That's life. We create light to express our darkness, which is the infinite, invisible expression of our nothingness. What is this? Tribal consciousness and conditioning. We want to speak about tribal consciousness and conditioning as it relates to this ability to choose. This looks ridiculous. Part of what has occurred through tribal consciousness and through collective conditioning is that a choice that could be infinite in terms of its possibilities has already been narrowed down before you choose it. It already has become narrowed down to 4 or 5 different choices before you even choose it. Our underlying purpose of this conversation is to create leaders, to create innovators, to create way showers, to reactivate leaders, to remember leaders, to provide a direct transmission that sparks something within you to remember that which you already have access to. Part of that process involves shining a light on where you've been conditioned to not lead. Again, shining a light on where you're conditioned to not lead, to not innovate, to not go for it, to not shine, to not play full out, to not put your cards on the table, to not get out of your comfort zone. You may understand that this is what you've been conditioned to do, but that, as you become anchored in unity consciousness, no longer applies to you. At this point, you are able to regain what we are calling cosmic choice. They're literally just trying to colonize your imagination. They just literally their version of give us your sins, as in like shine a light on your sins. Really, we're able to project into whatever you're shameful about, and now we can use that against you as well. This is insane. Let's explore this in a slightly different way to spiral more into the awareness of conscious choice. I'm already looking at you are a hologram of evolution and an infinite being. That's ridiculous. Animals who are conditioned to press the red button to receive, but there may be a green button. This is so much like they literally just like so flowery. And when I say flowery, right, like flowers just bloom and bloom and bloom, and they have all these details. So it's like flowery language, just like highly detailed, hella fluffy, a bunch of extra stuff that almost like just starts making you sneeze. like just it's all in your nasal sinuses. You can't actually fully breathe because it's so flowery, right? This is what it means to be like so logical. You're making so many things up. You're actually smothering people with your pollen. That's what it means to be so flowery that you choke people out. And that's what this is. So at least it's teaching me what not to be, because I'm sure people perceive me as flowery. I perceive this as that because it's not even saying anything in these sentences. And it's truly like repeating itself in an unproductive way that is meant to drill in a lie as well. So it's not even like actually getting healthy reps in at the gym, where when you know something is working, it's important to commit to that process to level up. In my opinion, that's some logical stuff though. Balance. The only constant is change, for sure. That is why light is an illusion, separation is an illusion. Everything is change because everything's vibration if it's going to be everything, or else it's just nothing. However, the animal has been conditioned, but everything's created from frequency, desire. However, the animal has been conditioned to just press the red button, get the food, eat the food, stay in the enclosure. It no longer even considers pressing the white button, getting out of the enclosure, and having infinite access to all there is. So even there, they're literally like, it's so weird, like applying it to unity consciousness, because this is what they want you to do. They literally want you to be comfortable inside of their light, inside of their unity consciousness, and not actually have infinite access to all there is. Because all there is you, your universe, nothingness. Because when you're tapped into nothingness, you can tap into anything. They want you to only tap into unity. When there's no unity, I'm unity. So they're literally using me. So that's why it's so tethered to me. And this is insane how it's manifested in my life. It's just they're siphoning this energy. It's crazy. Wild. This is a rough analogy that we're building. We know that it's not exactly a seamless analogy or example, and yet it gets the point across. Perhaps it gets the point across a little too harshly when we say that you're a conditioned animal inside of an enclosure just pressing the red button every day. They're projecting this onto you, like they're saying it, and then they're acting like they're freeing you from it. But if they're saying that it's you, it kind of almost means that they view you as that. And wherever they're about to take you, that's what you're going to just be doing there. If we say this, it'll clearly irritate you, ruffle your feathers, and that energy creates momentum. It creates consciousness. All right, so hate generates your light body into your spirit body. This is how you take your 7 into your 8 into your 9, and you become a 9-dimensional being so that you can create a 10, you create a heaven, so that you can create a new imagination inside of the heaven. That's an 11, and then that's where you get to communicate this whole new heaven to the universe, because then it becomes 12. From that 11, that's 2, so it's like its own body of water of you relating with yourself in your own heaven, and then you ignite your imagination to that, and now you're communicating that. That's a full simulation. That's like the 12-dimensional energy of like having your own simulation that's communicating with the universe. This is what it really naturally should be, and then it's just like macro stuff from there. What if they're not teaching you how to create your own world like I am, then they are teaching you how to create their world. This is like, it's honestly, if we're going to be binary about it, it's coming down to these two things. If they're not teaching you how to create your own world like I am, then they're teaching you how to create their world. Hence why they have to colonize my stuff and act like it's all part of unity consciousness, when really they're just using it to go to this one being. But it's like they're using me, so it's like I'm attached to it. It's like a love triangle, so to speak, in a cosmic sense. Whereas like people are meant to love this entity, but they need to go through me to do that. So now there's like 3 points of it. Yeah, you are a hologram of evolution and an infinite being. Like, you are a spirit. You are nothing, and you can be whatever you want. I will never tell you what you are unless I'm just like am for the sake of context. But like to drill it in like this, like no way. No. I'll tell you how you appear or what you're using as a spirit. I'm not going to tell you you are these things, right, at all. Like I'm going to tell you like, oh yeah, you created this. This is your art piece. So this is an example of how you have sex with yourself. Because everything is sex. Everyone is creating. Everyone's having sex with themselves, and then they have sex with each other based on how they have sex with themselves. And it's just then, creations from there, bodies. So sex is like mental realm energy. Like sex is like everything happening at once. That's 6. That's like true balance. So this is where like 6 is like in between 12. So it's interesting, like 12 being 9 is an ultimate full dimensional being. 12 is creating one's own simulation versus just being a spirit with an own imagination and like being more individual. I could go like so much deeper into that, but this is tablet talks. We'll say that for like building blocks of life or whatever. Yeah, they're just weaponizing all this. From the one that you've been playing in says that you're a finite being and that each day is a finite game. Yeah, we do not have to read all this, guys. Like you can read through it. Like me speaking it will be way slower than you being able to read it. So I'll just honestly be flipping through these pages for the rest of this tablet talk. Because if this is about to be a 20-parter, fine. You know, we're here for it. This is the point, is to decolonize and decode what they have stolen and transcribed. It's just a matter of not actually wasting our time with all of their logical lostness. You feel me? Because our time is valuable. As you are choosing to reactivate your cosmic choice, you can begin to remember the white button operating inside. Yeah, let's say that in the past when you, man, so many like hypotheticals, some of the, you can look this, bro, this is whack. So they're still, all right, you are a creator being. So they're just trying to colonize your creations for themselves. Yes, you create life every day. You create, you literally are create, like you, as a spirit, you make something from nothing. I just said that. Like, they're about to like go so hard and so lost in explaining what I just explained without numbers, by the way. Like I'm the god of numbers, of wisdom. Like, how are you going to have me documented as being all into math and I'm not explaining how math is the logical blocking out of how light moves in the universe? Like, come on, bro. What are you doing? What you just, they don't have the wisdom because they're not me. Like, I get it, but it's like frustrating to actually be here, like reading it and like have truly lived my life up to this point. I have so many experiences that like are so weirdly, deeply traumatic and strange and dark. And it's connected to all of this. All this Christian worship ideas where spirits take all their low vibrational sins and put it on another spirit and then just chase them through the astral realms. And now they made their purpose marrying this spirit that doesn't even want to be married to them. I don't know you. What? Like, how insane would I be to write a book like, all right, everyone who reads this book, marry me. Remember this for constantly marry me. No, what? Bro. Trying to weigh me down. Let me fly. Comedy. It just makes me get in my separation bag more. So, hey, that's why I developed hermetics. All right? It's important to be a hermit. It's important to know how to be thought, know how to separate yourself. Because the more you level up, the more others are going to want to consume you and take whatever they perceive they can get from you. Because that's what it's like been down to with my relationships with women for the most part. And how they've treated me and have perceived me. So this is literally just all of that. And it's all tied to unity consciousness. It's all tied to how they feel like they're not enough when they're alone. So they need to be all one with this entity that has some kind of something that they don't have. And all it does is weigh that other entity down. When you come from the awareness that you are a creator being, and that you've created everything that exists in your life, including the shock, you can trust your creation and put the empowerment back in your hands. Put the empowerment and the awareness back in your hands. Put the choice back in your own hands. Nothing happens outside the arena of choice. What are you choosing or not choosing? They're just repeating themselves wildly. We've spoken about choice, the capacity to choose. What? We have spoken about choice and the capacity to choose. Shout out Rob. That literally, oh my gosh, that review, like, this is not divine. They're just repeating themselves with no substance. Yeah. As was mentioned in the example of the animal that's in the enclosure, in your life, it may appear as if the actual choices that you have are quite limited or quite small. Skip. We know that because you are in this conversation with the Talus of Light, you are on this tipping point. You are on this perspective. With this tipping point comes your capacity to identify untruths and illusions as they arise for what they are. For example, as the old belief arises that the control and the choice of your life exists outside of you, you can see clearly that this is not untrue. You can see the dimensions in which you're operating in repetitive patterns also aren't true. Those are just echoes. Those are just echoes. Those are just echoes. Those are just echoes. Through this conversation, we're providing the opportunity to dismantle everything and to resurrect your capacity to have free choice, to have conscious choice, and to have cosmic choice on our system. That's insane. They literally are just like, they're trying to colonize your free will so much. So they're like, we want your full expression of your imagination. So like, make sure you're super in touch with the consent of your spirit expressing itself so that it fully feels like expressing itself for us and to connect to Thoth. And it's like, they're like roping me into how they're trying to colonize you, which is why I have to be here doing this now. We will talk more about choice and no choice. And yet, let's introduce the energy of cosmic choice at this time to tap into your evolution as an infinite being in the arena of the cosmos. The part of the no choice that becomes so familiarized, so routinized, is that you operate within the concept of one incarnation of one day of one you. You wake up, you have your body, you have your life. It's all going to be pretty much the same as yesterday, and that will evolve plus or minus 10% in somewhat of a default future for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, 5 decades, 6 decades, 7 decades, 8 decades, maybe 9 decades, maybe 10 decades. There is simultaneity of the absolute denial that this incarnation is sitting within the concept of time, of a lifespan in time skip. Simultaneously, there's a sense that it doesn't really matter who you are on any given day or what you do on any given day, because there's always tomorrow, and what you really skip. You have a cosmic choice, and what you're choosing right now actually is creating a direction of energy that will be experienced in 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. Okay, skip, right. You are in a place of freedom. You are in a place of connection, because there's a sense of what you would call building a legacy. All right. There's a sense that the choices you're making now are creating consciousnesses on a cosmic level beyond Earth. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, and they want to colonize that. I just talked about that. They want to colonize the other bodies that your spirit has subconsciously created by making you hold this vision and send it to your feeling and like make sure that your whole feeling is filled up with it. So your whole subconscious waters are just reflecting this light. And now you're like tethered and like telling all your other bodies to do the same thing. And they're able to somehow colonize the world more and get people just lost in light and control their imaginations and stuff. Ugh. Yeah, so this looks so ugly from the astral realm to me personally. As far as, of course, we're talking about low vibrations and the lights that come from low vibrations and spirits externalizing that at you, trying to get something. And like they'll be Lucifer really hard and look as good as possible to try and get something. And I mean, that's just a succubus. This succubus energy is a whole thing. Or even like, I guess kind of sirens, but really like a succubus is more accurate. Because a succubus comes after you. I'm not getting thrown off of my path. Like I am a creator. So when I chase myself, aka my spirit. So as a spirit, I create a body, and then that body chases the desires that I have installed in that body so that I can gain the wisdom that I must gain in those experiences. It's pretty cool. That's what we all do. It's just about how aware are we of doing that. Your choices on this day create this powerful combination. We know it's easy for us to say that what you like to call your purpose is not probable. It is inevitable. Who it is that you are and what it is that you're meant to express and experience is a given. It's going to occur, and yet we're stringing together in awareness of multidimensional living. Skip. All right, so you have multidimensional choice, multidimensional cosmic choice. The awareness that you choose or don't choose to be and do and to have in this incarnation. All right, if you woke up tomorrow with the idea that you had absolute infinite choice, man, where in your life right now, where in a pattern that you've had over and over again is more choice? What's right about what's not right in your life? They're just extending this. They're really trying to make you just like get lost in this whole thing, cosmic choice. Ugh. And it just has to be double C, bro. Cosmic choice with like cosmic conversations, whatever. To incarnate with an innovative mission. As you go to sleep on this night, if you choose, we recommend that you begin to remember your cosmic choice, We recommend that you tie this incarnation to that cosmic choice to incarnate, to come with a mission, to understand that a part of your mission is to pioneer something, to innovate something, to lead something, to access something. And that you are the one that actually has within you that which unlocks everything for you. They're truly trying to make you, actually, literally, this is now programming, where they're saying, hey, program your spirit to create bodies, to create for us. They're literally doing what I'm saying, using these tablets, using my stuff to colonize your subconscious mind so that you feel like it's the move to create bodies, to support this light white supremacist unity consciousness Freemasonic idea and all everything associated with it. And they're using all this feel-good stuff to make that happen. That is true. O equals a letter or a certain thing. Then, as you read it that way, you pull out the words that are actually embedded within the context of a seemingly innocuous page of words. Yeah, you are the key that unlocks the locks. It is not what we know, it's about what you know. To create an environment, to create a temple of these pages that creates an environment for you to know what it is that you know represents an extraordinary threshold of consciousness and of awareness. All right, we're about to cut it here. Yeah, we'll get into this. This was part 7. We're about to hit part 8. Man, this is really long, but hey, they got a lot of lostness. We're in here right now. It's looking like it's just talking about how we create Earth. We create life in general on autopilot. Like, it's just a lot of lostness. Okay, yeah. So next time, here we are, Ring of Inclusion. See you in part 8. Gang.